activating the core, loosening the hips, and relaxing the low back today with a little bit of guided stretching. So you can do this on your bed or on a yoga mat or even on carpet if you have it. We're gonna start out by lying down on your back and then walk your feet up so that they're about hip width, just a little bit away from your butt. You can have your hands on the ground or you can connect with your breath by putting your hands on your belly button. And then what we're gonna start with is this awareness of hips and their placement. So we're gonna activate the glutes by pushing through the heels and lifting the toes. We're gonna squeeze the glutes away from the floor and slowly roll up into a bridge. You'll have your back supporting you up at the top, but your low back should be neutral here. We're not hyper extending and arching, but just keeping a straight line from your shoulders to your knee. And then roll down nice and slow. Think about one vertebra at a time. Upper back, mid back, low back, pelvis, and relax. We're gonna do that 2 more times. So exhale, roll up, squeeze. Inhale, roll down, nice and slow. Completely rest and your pelvis will rock forward a little bit and you'll have space underneath your back a little bit. And then we undo that motion, hold it, and roll down nice and slow. So what we're doing here is decompressing the low back by creating length in the spine as we roll down. We're pulling the spine a little bit longer than it was before. And now what we're gonna do is walk the feet as wide as the mat, or if you're lying down, you'll just make your feet go a little bit wider and bring your knees together. They can either touch or just be closer together than they were before. And you can have your arms here up like goal posts, or make an L shape with your elbow, and keep your elbow about at shoulder height. And then from here, we're gonna roll both knees over to the left. And you should feel a stretch going down your right side, possibly into your quads. And then you're gonna bring the knees back up to point towards the ceiling and then roll to the right. Let gravity do the work here, so only go as far as you're comfortable with. And then come back. We're gonna do that 2 more times on each side. So roll to the left. Hang out here, take some big belly breaths and see if your exhale allows the knees to reach a little further, but don't force it. And then one more time. This is a great time to connect to your breath. Notice what it feels like when you breathe. Notice if you were having or holding any tension through the side of your body. And then bring the knees back up. We're gonna walk the feet all the way to touch, and now the knees go wide. So we're just doing the opposite of what we just did, and actually bring the balls of your feet together so the ankles are touching the bed or the mat. And knees are wide, and we're just creating space here in the hips. Now if this feels uncomfortable, you can also put a pillow up underneath your hips. The reason it's uncomfortable is because your hip flexors are tight or the inner thigh muscles are tight, and so the gravity is pulling. And if you lift up with a pillow, it can help relieve some of that pressure, but you can still get a good stretch. So we're just gonna lay here for a second. Again, a good time to focus on your breath. Belly expands down on the inhale. Exhale, the belly relaxes and all the air comes up and out. So again, inhale. Exhale. We'll do one more breath here. And if you notice this is starting to loosen up, you can even take your hands and gently add a little bit of pressure. And then gently guide your knees back up to center. And now we're gonna extend your right foot out so the leg is straight. You can flex your foot so the toes are pulling back towards your face. And then you're gonna pull your left knee in towards your chest. Now, depending on how tight your hips are, this might be as far as you can go, or even right here, and that's okay. We just want to think about letting the hips point towards the ceiling and bringing this knee in a straight line as far back as it can go comfortably. We're not at this point opening up to the side or trying to bring it across, so we're just bringing it right at the middle. You can hold on with 2 hands. You can have your hands underneath your knee. If you have a strap or a sock, you can use your prop around the edge of the leg. If this feels super easy for you and you're feeling really flexible, you could also reach up with your foot and grab your pants, or even grab your toe or your foot and try to stretch the back of the leg. This is a little bit different stretch than this one. This one's really focusing on the hip flexors, but you can get also with your hamstrings here if you want. And then we'll let go with that leg, extend it out long, flex the toes back towards the face, and then bring the other leg back in. And we'll just gently pull the knee up. Big breath in. Exhale, keep that left foot pushing away. And again, notice as you inhale, where are you creating space? And as you exhale, where are you able to let go? Then again, you can play with a straight leg here. You can roll your ankle. Notice that one side's tighter than the other. My right side is definitely tighter than my left right now. And that's totally normal. Just depending on what's going on with your routine or any injuries you have in your history can change how mobile your hips are. Okay, so now we've created space in the hip flexors. We're gonna make space in the back of the hips. So you're gonna take your left foot and put it on top of your right knee and then allow that knee to open up. Your right foot can just be wherever it was planted before. If you want to make the stretch more intense, you can walk your right knee up closer to your glutes, or you can reach forward, grab your foot and your knee, or you can reach forward more, grab the back of the leg, or even on top of the knee. But see how my shoulders are up right now? That's not really where we want to be. So for me to be like this, it takes a lot of focus that isn't really necessary. So I feel best grabbing behind the back of the leg. Everybody's different depending on how long your arms are or how tight your hips are. So just play around with this. You can also rock side to side. Feels really good. Stay here for as long as you want. So if you want to pause the video and like hang out here for another minute or so, you can. The longer you do it, the better it works. I'm gonna go ahead and switch legs. So putting the right ankle on the left knee. And if you're feeling tight like I am today, you can also push that knee gently to create more space here before we reach up and grab, so it's not so intense. And again, allow for any variances from side to side. Don't force yourself to stretch more than feels good. It should feel like a pleasant discomfort. It shouldn't feel like sharp stabbing pain or something that is screaming at you to stop. That means you're probably going a little more intense than ideal. So back off just a little bit if that's happening. And wherever you're at when you back off, if you can still feel it, then you're doing something right. Cool, we're gonna let this foot come back down. Feel free to pause the video if you want to keep stretching that. Now we're gonna activate the front side of the core, and this is because if the abs in the front are contracted or activated, engaged, they cause this squeezing motion, which typically also allows your pelvis to tuck a little bit and creates length in the low back. So the low back is more flat against your bed or against the mat, as opposed to having that space. So there's actually two components here, your pelvic tilt. So a lot of people have a pelvic tilt like this, and some people have a pelvic tilt that's like really exaggerated like this. Those are the people that you'll see standing and they're like slouching forward usually. So what we're trying to do is create a neutral pelvis, but then also activate the core to create a longer low back. So what we're gonna do is bring one foot and then the other off the ground and zip your knees together. And then reach your fingertips up. Exhale, push down with your palms. And if you notice, if you really pay attention, as you're exhaling and you're pushing down, you'll feel a little bit of contraction happening in your very low abdominals, where your actual hip bones are, and then also a little bit higher, kind of like just above the belly button. So that's what we're trying to do, is create strength here. So we're gonna do this for 30 reps, nice and slow, and we'll do it on a count of 5. So you'll inhale on a count of 5 pulses and exhale on a count of 5 pulses. Here we go. And that's it. So hopefully you're feeling some warmth here in the low belly. That means you've activated your core. So you can do more of these if it feels like it's too easy, or if you want to keep working on that. And then what we'll do next is loosen up the hips one more time with the IT band, and then you'll be able to move along with your day. So we're gonna stretch out the right foot, pull the left knee in just like we did before. Maybe it'll go a little further this time because we loosened up the hips. And then we're gonna take the right hand and guide the left knee across the body, keeping that knee bent at about 90 degrees. So we don't want it way down here unless you're just super, super, super tight. And you're gonna pull over, but your left shoulder stays on the mat. So some people will just like collapse and roll all the way. We wanna keep the chest open facing the ceiling while we're pulling across the body. So we have a rotation in the spine. Big belly breaths are a good call here as well. And then roll it back. Same thing other side. So extend that left foot, pull the right knee in. Breathe, and then let the left hand guide the right knee across while you keep the right shoulder reaching towards the mat or planted on the mat. And we're breathing. And then gently roll back. And then bring your foot all the way out long. And then the last thing we'll do is reach up overhead just to create a long spine one more time. Try to reach through with your upper back and leave your low back kind of relaxed. So reaching with the fingertips. And then you can just kind of collapse here and rest. This is a good time also to continue your breath practice. If you want to work on deep belly breathing here, you've already created a lot of space. Or you can just go to sleep or carry on with your day. So hope this was helpful for you. Let me know what you think, and let me know if you have any questions or concerns. I'm happy to modify any of these poses for you and make them easier.